list of principles for the Bunkai strategies. What we've got to look at next is the idea that whatever the attack comes at us, we're going to enter the situation. And the multitude of methods that we could enter the situation by can be pared down until we get to just a couple of very simple looks at things. First thing is that if we start with a push or even a double-handed push, what I don't want to be doing is moving backwards and being on a continual receiving end of that. So for that to happen, for me to deal with that in a different way, rather than just keep getting pushed back, because what you observe is that when conflicts occur, generally there's going to be some kind of entry like this, and then the numb person comes back and does the same thing, and it escalates from there till someone's slinging them. So what we have to be is that little bit cleverer. And to start with, as those come in, I might well turn my body off this way to allow the person to come through. Once I get a little bit beyond that, I can then come in to their space rather than away from, turning into. And that kind of movement is going to change things up a notch. So for someone who's brand new, who perhaps doesn't possess a lot of confidence, that initial turning out motion is the next best thing to where they currently are. Remember, they're going to start off with being driven back and trying to respond from there. So the initial response might well be here, and then once we've got a little bit of training under our belt, we can literally change the range and come in. Now from here I should be able to do any kata movement whatsoever, shouldn't I? So perhaps if I was slinging this up here and then bringing this up here, then we might see that occur. Or if I were starting off with something simple, then I might see that occur. If I'm the type of person who just strikes, then this is a good range to be striking at, because we're already entering the situation rather than letting the situation enter us, if you'll approve the pun. Right, so that's how we're going to begin that. And then the other kind of attack is the kind that encircles us. Now, whether that's someone who's coming in and going for your waist, or whether that's someone who's throwing the big hook, what I've got to do is, again, look at how that's going to change. The initial movement, if we do the hook, is that I might want to move away from that. You might well flinch away from that. So then we have to weaponize it. You turn it into a martial concept. That movement away turns into a strike on the way. From there, we change that up to moving in and making the strike, so that we come in and deliver that at the same time. From there, you should be able to do any move from any kata. So on that entry, what do? Well, what about if that's our favourite thing? Then that's what we do. But what if it's the circle around the waist? Well, if it's that kind of, it might not be your waist, it might be around your arms, it might be from the rear, but those kind of encircling tactics, I'm still going to initially move away. Now, in MMA terms, we call that shoot and sprawl. So when someone shoots to grab you, we open it up and sprawl. Because what we've got to try and do is get our body weight on top so that we're not being barreled back onto the floor. So when that comes in, we want to be here, and it's that same enveloping, capturing action. And then from there, deliver your kata, do your kata on them. So that's our irimi to the habitual acts of physical violence that we covered last time, at a distance where it's necessary. And then encompassed within that is the key that it's not going to be a 1-2 action. What's going to happen is that when that attack comes, it's got to be all over in one. So I don't know what's coming, but whatever comes, it's got to be all over in one. What you'll find is that if you close things down and get it all over in one, it looks like a move from a kata anyway. So that was the block just then, and the hand came in like that. Now, if you do a kata, where this is the function of it, or where this is the form, then that's the function. Right? Now, what happens if I'm so well programmed with that action that when that hook came in, maybe that arm came up that way, or maybe that arm went in that way, or maybe that arm came in that way. But it must all happen simultaneously. The problem is, when we're showing these things at this kind of pace for the purposes of education, we have to slow it down. Because when that thing comes, to bump all at once, hits is nasty. So quite often when we're showing things, we'll go, and this arm comes in here. And it's for the practitioner to understand that actually those things happen all at once. For the sake of education, we break it down so that you can see where the bits go, so that you can get some inkling of how to do it. But truthfully, it should all happen in one go. So that's our irimi, and then really you've just got to see which kata move am I going to put in there. Well, let's say that I were doing something like Basai Dai and trying just to do the starting position, up here if you do that version of it. And if that were my irimi, if that's what I'm trained to do, then whatever that attack is that comes in here, it's going to be this kind of movement. So we're receiving the attack, and capturing it, encircling, and driving this in, all in one go. And that would be how we build it up, bit by bit, until you're able to just launch that and have it land where you need it to land. That's how we approach our irimi section of our set of principles.